Welcome back to X Games 2022 here in Vista, California. We are inside the California training facility. For those of you that were watching Women's Skateboard Park earlier, we just wanted to update you. You saw Sakura Yozozumi take a pretty heavy slam there in the last round of runs. She is currently being evaluated by X Games Medical, so keep those positive vibes and well wishes going her way, and hopefully we will get an update on her condition to you during this broadcast. However, the action is about to continue here inside the park course as we get set to kick off BMX Park Final. Hello and welcome inside the booth here, everyone. I'm Jimmy Coleman, standing alongside Chris Doyle. We've got Victoria Arlen out in the field. And, well, when it comes to BMX Park, parity has been the name of the game over the last 7 times. This has been contested. However, Logan Martin has been establishing dominance the last 4 times he's competed here. Yeah, I mean, Logan Martin is a threat to any discipline that he steps to, but park is really his forte. He's most dominant in this discipline, and it's always a pleasure to watch Logan Martin do his thing. Showing you some highlights from Japan right here. Check out the height on that flare tail whip. Again, this is where he shines. He can do things in both directions, both sides of the bike, showing you that opposite double tail whip, and that is why he has that gold medal around his neck. Yeah, the last 7 times this has been contested, we've only had 4 different winners, and Logan has won it 3 times. He got it in 2018, 2019, and most recently in Chiba, Japan. However, there is a stacked field of 10 riders in that list. It is best run that counts. So outside of Logan, Chris, talk about some of your favorite standouts. Stacked field indeed. We have the likes of Mr. Kevin Peraza, a guy that's won this event before himself. We have Mr. Dennis Anderson, a guy that we don't get to see enough of. Always a pleasure to watch Dennis ride. He does things a little bit differently. He's going to have some different lines, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch Mr. Dennis Anderson as well. Yeah, he got his gold medal in this event back in 2016. The last year X Games was in Austin, but it is a jam session out here in this park course, this massive expanse of concrete here inside the California training facility here, and we are going to start it off with Jeremy Malott. Another thing to mention here is out of the 10 in the field, 7 of these guys have a park medal to their name. Jeremy here, 25 years old, out of Lake Havasu City, Arizona. He owns a Park Best Trick medal. He earned bronze last year in Pat Casey's backyard. He gets us started here in the BMX Park Final. I know I say it all the time, but it's never easy to be the first guy to drop. You're really setting the tone for how the rest of the contest is going. But Jeremy Malott is off and running, going a little bit long on that flare right there, landing a little bit low, uncharacteristic, shaking off the nerves a little bit. Showing that bar spin, the tuck no-hander, truck driver up and over the box jump there. And impressive showing. Awesome to have Jeremy out here. Not the run he wanted, but he's going to be back. We have a lot of time. Yeah, called it a little early right there. You see 2 clocks on the screen. You've got your jam session clock there up and next to the X Games logo. The other clock you see, that's the run clock. They get 45 seconds for each individual run. Getting a look at some of the highlights here, showing you that flare into the wedge. Looked like he was getting up in the bars a little bit, maybe wanted to take those hands off, but I've said it before, I'll say it again, never easy to be the first guy that drops in. Well, you're going to get 3, possibly 4 chances at it here. It'll depend on how the clock runs here throughout this contest. As we mentioned, 10 athletes, 36-minute jam session. They run in order. It's 45 seconds per run, and it's the best run that counts here as we bring in Jose Torres. Jose Torres, this kid can blast double tail whip on that big pocket transfer. Doing the Superman seat grab Indian air. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. He can blast the spine, he can blast the quarter. Sticking with the flow, a little bit of a hang up there. 360 double tail whip, corking it out. Still managing to get across that box feature there after a little bit of a clip on the previous landing, coming down to the final 20 seconds for his first attempt. Now, I talked to a lot of these guys in practice, and they all seem to really love this course. It goes really fast. There's a lot of creativity and a lot of creative lines that these people can come up with. There's that flare tail whip. Did you see where he landed that? Perfectly under the coping right there at the sticker tape, and that is going to be a huge first run there for Jose Torres. Jose Torres, always a pleasure to watch. Spends a lot of time up in the rafters, but that was a good, solid first hit. Check this out right here. Huge double tail, catching it early into that vert quarter. That's a lot of real estate off that hip into that extension there to transfer through. There's the corked out 360 with a double tail whip. The way these guys cork their 360s now, you don't see a lot of flat spinning. They really pull back as if they're going to do like a backflip. But that was a 360 corked out double tail whip, showing you the huge flare with the tail up. And like you said, Jimmy,
landing perfectly on the transition and keeping the run going.
Yeah, that back tire was right there on the coping tape. So that'll put him in that #1 spot. We haven't mentioned this yet. You will not see scores as we go through this competition. It is a live ranking, so the judges just slide the names around on the leaderboard there as how they feel they should be in the standings. So Jose Torres in the top spot here as we welcome in Great Britain's Ben Wallace. Already competed earlier this week in BMX Dirt, which was held out at Axel Hodges' compound, the Sleigh Ground.
Yeah, and I can't believe on my sheet it says Ben Wallace is 35 years old. How can that be? I remember when he was just a kid.
I noticed that earlier. I was like, wow, Ben's 35 now. He's one of the elder statesmen in the group.
Yeah.
Actually, oldest on the dirt roster.
Yeah, and I think he held back a little bit in dirt to save himself for this event, because I think this is where he really shines. He comes up with cool lines. He's got the tricks, showing that corked out 720.
Look how perfect that was. Just smooth, cool, casual there.
He's here with his wife, Scarlett, 2 daughters. So he's a family man, just settled in Riverside, California. Check out downside double tail whip. And the fast plant on the pole, so risky. And a 540 tire tap.
Almost taking out the camera guy in the process right there. So a wild finish right there for Ben Wallace. He's a 3-time dirt medalist, but he owns no park medals. And putting on a solid performance here in round #1.
Showing you that it X up. He had some smooth lines, some different lines that we've seen so far. Showing you that 720. Spotting that landing perfectly. Getting all the transition, keeping the run going. Then this, the downside double tail whip. Catches it good, and he's heading for that pole. He did a nice fast plant on the pole right here. That's a risky move, because if your foot misses that pole, you're in for quite a different ride there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's going to launch you over to the other side of the spine there, because that is not a very wide feature. Actually, not even a feature. It just keeps the warehouse roof intact, and they just built around it. But Ben Wallace making good use of it there, and that will put him in the top spot for now. Taking a look here at Daniel Sandoval. We mentioned that out of the last 7 times this event's been contested, we've had 4 different gold medalists. He happens to be one of them. He got his gold medal in park in 2015 at X Games Austin.
Check him out here, Jimmy. He's got a big line. He's got some big tricks. I saw him do some things in practice that could really shake things up here. This is going to be fun to watch. Huge on that flare with the tail. Are you kidding me? Catching perfect transition.
Again, I mean, the massive height right there and how perfectly he landed under the coping there, right on the sticker tape.
The jumping tricks that Sandoval has in his back pocket, the things that seem easy for him, just blow my mind constantly.
He owns 4 X Games medals, and they're all in park. That gold that I mentioned in 2015, he also has 3 bronze medals as well. And no, with the last couple of seconds there, just washes out. He was off to a good run there.
I saw him do that on social media. I saw him do that in practice, and he can do that. He can pull it. Crazy to do that at the end of your run when you're gassed, but check him out here. A huge flare with the tail up, catching perfect transition, just keeping the run going. A lot of you'll hear me talk about the transition a lot, because if these guys land low, it can really throw off their run. They lose their flow. You miss a beat, you lose the rhythm.
Well, nice reference right there. Speaking of flow, here's a guy that's going to flow all through this course. This guy is an absolute treat to watch when it comes to bull corners here in a park course. This is Dennis Anderson, and look, right out of the gate off that wall ride.
The huge wall ride. The tail up.
Man, did you see that transfer?
Transferring all across the park, lots of speed.
Look how fast he's going right now.
He's covered so much ground in such a short amount of time, Jimmy. I can't believe he still has over 20 seconds left. Huge pocket to wall, one-handed X up. I love that a lot of Dennis's jumping tricks are like old school 90s style tricks. You love to see it. He's got a great run going here. Little bit of a bobble. I don't know if it's going to mess him up. Straight double truck driver. Turn down on the quarter. Just classic tricks mixed in with effortless flow. Check him out.
Goodness. Off that extension's huge right there.
The foot jam to fakie to end things out. Wow. Solid run from Mr. Dennis Anderson. Again, I haven't seen him in a long time, so it's awesome to see him out here doing his thing again. A jack of all trades, really. This was that huge wall ride, spotting that landing, tail whip, catching the pedals clean. Risky to do that at the beginning, but man, well, risky for anyone else, maybe not for Dennis Anderson. A nice table pocket transfer into the vert wall.
I mean, that one right there, that was probably the biggest one. I mean, there was so much room that he covered on that transfer.
And then ending things with a foot jam to Fakey.
He had to settle for 5th in Park last year. Pat Casey's backyard, but right now he finds himself in the number 2 position after a wild first run there. Dennis Anderson putting on a show here in BMX Park as we bring in Great Britain's Declan Brooks. He was your bronze medalist, the first ever BMX Park event in the Olympics. Had to settle for 5th at X Games Chiba earlier this year in his rookie X Games performance.
The best way to describe Declan's riding is powerful. When he rides, the ramps shake. He's got that much force behind his pump and the way he uses his transitions. Looks like he's taking it a little bit easy right here, Jimmy. There's that 540 with a bar spin onto that wedge feature.
Coming down to the final 10 seconds. Wow. He got the last bit of transition right there, but he made that look so easy.
Just corking that ride out. A lot of people will call that a corked out 900. Some people call it a 540 flare. I call it absolutely unbelievable.
Call it made in round 1 too.
Wow. You'll see other guys do that trick too. It's amazing what these guys have dialed, showing you that classic 540 with a bar spin onto the wedge feature, and then this just corking out that 900. Again, some people might call it a 540 flare. I call it absolutely impressive.
That layback bank wall that he did the bar spin 5 on's a bit of a risk too, because that thing recesses back. You don't want to hang up on that thing, so we'll see where this puts him. Declan's going to go into that number 4 spot right now. So it's Ben Wallace, Dennis Anderson, and Jose Torres sitting in the top 3 spots as of right now.
Yeah, we got Mr. Justin Dowell dropping in, wasting no time. Going huge right now, showing you the box jumping tricks. Nice look back on that quarter pipe. A triple truck driver on that box jump backwards. Are you kidding me, Jimmy? Just keeping it going, showing you that Twix, and he's looking a little bit upset with that one right now. Now the Twix is where you're doing a tail whip and you throw the bars midway through. He's the only guy in today's field that you will be seeing do that. So great run from Mr. Justin Dowell.
You could hear him right there. He said that one hurts a little dinged up there in that run. As we take another look.
Getting a look at some of the highlights here. Showing you that double tail. He wasted no time, got right into it. Showing that 540 tuck no-hander. He's a goofy-footed rider. He's left foot forward, and he spins to the left as well.
So that'll slide him into that number 6 position here. So we are approaching the 25.5-minute mark here in the BMX Park final. We turn our attention now to Japan's Rim Nakamura.
Keep your eyes up, because this guy blasts big. Check out Rim right here. Bar spin, catch, bar spin. Looks like he wanted a little bit more after that, followed by the triple tail whip. Keeping the run going, keeping the flow. He had a little bit of a mess up before. Showing that 720 with a bar spin. Rim is a small guy, but he can blast a quarter pipe, landing a little bit low on that transfer. This isn't the run that Rim Nakamura wants. He's going to want to clean this up in the following rounds.
Seemed like he got a little lost there in that last 7 or 8 seconds and wasn't planning that. Was just kind of rolling around trying to run the clock out.
Yeah, he certainly did have a little bit of dead space in there. Showing you that triple tail whip, 1, 2, 3. Get another good look at this right here into that vert wall. A little bit of a wedge wall slash vert, but stomping that triple tail whip. Good run from Rim Nakamura, but I know that he's capable of more. And like you said, he got a little bit lost out there, maybe lost the flow a little bit.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. One low landing or you get thrown off out of the wrong corner and it'll throw off your cadence there. So that'll bump him into that number 4 spot and slide Declan Brooks down to 5th. So we are down to our final 2 riders in the lineup here in round number 1. Another one of our former gold medalists here. He's won this event 2 times. This is Kevin Peraza, and actually he took the win last year at this event in Pat Casey's backyard.
Unreal to think that he beat Pat Casey in Pat Casey's own backyard. Now we saw Kevin land a little bit low on that one. Lost some speed, lost some flow. Downside double tail whip on that 360. Looks like he's battling a little bit right now, Jimmy. Coming up a little short on that quarter pipe. He's still doing some impressive stuff, but I don't think right now that this is the run that Kevin Peraza really wants.
Well, the thing to keep in mind here, it is the best run that counts. And again, it'll be 3 runs, possibly 4, depending on how fast we flow through this contest. So that's the key. It's the best of your runs that counts out here today. Take another look here from Kevin Peraza's first outing.
Showing you this tail whip into the vert quarter. And it was this next hit where he landed a little bit low. And I think it really threw off the rest of his run. You know, you lose some speed. It's hard to get that speed back up and going. Here's that 360 double downside whip. Catching the pedals. I mean, still a lot of impressive elements. Check him out with the backflip 180, landing backwards, pulling it right back into the transition. Always a treat to watch Mr. Kevin Peraza.
Some of that tech Kevin Peraza style right there, so that'll slide him in that number 5 spot here. So again, so right now Ben Wallace still sitting in that top spot, followed by Dennis Anderson and then Jose Torres. But before we get to our next rider, let's check in right now with Victoria Arlen.
Thank you, Jimmy. I'm right in the action here. We've got 4 former gold medalists currently competing, including Logan Martin. Now, He's pretty busy this week. He was on BMX Dirt. He got bronze, and he's in Park. He's won this event 3 times, and he's had victories in each of his last 3 X Games appearances. He did not compete last year because of the Olympics, but he's 5 for 5 in Park podiums.
Yeah, that was part of that dominance we were talking about right there. And as you mentioned, Victoria, we didn't see him last year because of the Olympics looming. He picked up where he left off. We went to X Games Chiba in Japan and earned another gold medal there in this event.
Well, Logan Martin is off and running. That is an opposite downside double tail straight into the corked out 720. And this is why Logan Martin is an Olympic gold champion. He's actually riding the same bike that he rode in the Olympics. That's an opposite tail whip flare, bar spin catch, bar spin. Lots of impressive elements from Mr. Logan Martin, as always.
Just putting it all together, just everything's just so smooth and so dialed here. There's the final couple seconds, and that's the buzzer, and puts it together yet again.
And he does everything textbook. Everything that he does, every trick, looks the way it's supposed to look. And check him out right here. That's an opposite downside double tail whip, catching the pedals clean, catching that transition, and then just corking out this 720. Just stretching it out, spotting the landing nice and early. Never not impressive. There's an opposite tail with a flare. As soon as he catches those pedals, it's already eyes on the next transition. He knows where he's going to go. He's always got a plan.
And that run right there is not going to be enough for podium contention. That'll slide him into that number 4 spot right now. So just ahead of Rim Nakamura. So that is round 1 in the books. Still plenty of time left on that jam session clock here. It is Ben Wallace sitting in the top spot for now. We'll have more from BMX Park Final when we come back to the California Training Facility.
You never know what it'll bring. It's the day that you've been waiting on, the day that things change. Yeah, I talk a big game, but back it up like King James when I hear him say. Okay, I never will. It's the day that you've been waiting on, the day that things change. Yeah, I talk a big game, but back it up like King James when I hear him say. Yeah, and now you see him say. Feels good.
that was our Geico Music Mix. Well, X Games SoCal continues tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. It's the last day of competition for the world's best action sports athletes, highlighted by the finals of BMX Dirt, Real Street Best Trick, Women's Skateboard Street, the Moto X 110s, Pacifico Skateboard Vert Best Trick, BMX Mega Park, and Men's Skateboard Park. Speaking of park, we are in the middle of BMX Park here inside the California training facility. It's one round of runs in the books. It's Ben Wallace sitting in the top spot as of right now, followed by Dennis Anderson and Jose Torres. That is how we stand. However, it is the best run that counts here. Jimmy Coleman here in the booth alongside Chris Doyle, and we are back into the action here with Lake Havasu City's Jeremy Malott.
Don't let that 10th place position fool you. This guy can absolutely shred. Big, natural 540 right there. Flat spin, not corking it out. I like to see some of the old school style coming through. Showing that inward can right here. I think his first run was going a little bit better. There's that 720 over the box jump. Spends a lot of time training with Daniel Sandoval. Spend a lot of time riding together. Can see a little bit of a similar style. Showing that tuck no-hander transfer. Oh, a little Kevin Peraza style right there onto the box jump. Going for the backflip to fakie. He's got such a late 90s style of riding a park course. I love to see it. Check him out here. Tail up, catching the pedals. Eyeing things up here with a big flare. I know he's got more tricks up his sleeve. It'd be good to see him step it up a little bit more in the final round.
Yeah, he was down there at the bottom of the pack there. That'll bump him up 2 spots. He was in 10th. He will slide into that number 8 position. Jose Torres coming your way next. He got a bronze medal in Minneapolis X Games 2019. That was his rookie appearance. He's currently looking at a bronze medal as of right now.
Yeah, Jose Torres can absolutely blast. Huge double tail whip on that pocket, in that transfer. Nice natural invert into that wedge feature there. Nice looking corked out 360 with the double tail. Similar line to what we saw in his first run. Maybe wanted a little bit more on that corked out 360 on that box jump backwards. And keep in mind, these guys are getting tired as the day progresses, as they put down these runs. I know just, 35 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but it can be exhausting when you're out there. You're holding your breath. You're trying to get tricks done.
Yeah, and you're trying to flow through those transitions and keep that amplitude going throughout the entirety of the run there. But another solid performance there out of Jose Torres, trying to give himself some breathing room.
I'm always impressed when they can squeeze in a huge trick at the very end, because you're so gassed after one of these runs.
Yeah, you got that fatigue factor, but also clock management.
Working out that 360 with a double tail whip. Huge on the flare tail whip. Catches it so early, so perfect, just keeping the run going. Impressive showing from Mr. Jose Torres.
Kid, he's in a bronze medal spot pre-run right there. Would love to give himself a little breathing room, and he does. He's going to overtake Dennis Anderson right there, put himself in a silver medal position. So now it's Wallace, Torres, and Anderson, your 1, 2, 3, as we are just under 18 minutes left to go here on the jam session clock. As we bring in your current leader, Ben Wallace. Sits in that top spot here. We saw him in dirt earlier in the week. He kind of took it easy out there in the wind, and as you mentioned earlier, Chris, looking like he was definitely focused on park, and rightly so, as he sits in that top spot.
And keep an eye on the lines that he does. He takes a totally different line than all of the other guys. He's doing different tricks, kind of a more natural bull style here. Tail up into that wedge feature. Working out that 720, he's got that so dialed. Beautiful 270 look back. Up and over the wedge spine. And there's that downside double tail, catching it nice and clean. I love the fast plant on the pole. And why not end things out with that 540 tire tap? Tooth over, I love to see it.
So there you go. That is 2 solid performances out of Ben Wallace. As I mentioned before, he owns 3 dirt medals, but he doesn't have any park medals. And he sits in the top spot for now.
Which is amazing to think about, because I've always considered Ben a much better park rider than a dirt rider. He just happens to have a couple medals under his belt in our dirt discipline, showing that corked out 720. Perfect transition. I love the downside fast plant on that pole. It's a rounded pole too, so making things extra difficult.
Yeah, if you go too far one direction or the other, and it is going to be lights out, but he's 2 for 2 on that one. So again, no scores here as we run through this competition. It is a live ranking, so you just see the names sliding around on the leaderboard there. But again, Ben Wallace, followed by Jose Torres and Dennis Anderson. That is your 1, 2, 3. And at the end of round 1, we saw Logan Martin put down a big run, but he finds himself on the outside looking in right now, sitting in that number 4 spot. Daniel Sandoval set to take attempt number 2 here. He's an all-arounder this weekend, riding in dirt, park, and mega park, and in park best trick later on.
Well, Jimmy, let's see if he can pull that double flare that he tried in the first run. See if he can get that together and see how that could possibly improve his score. Had a little bit of a blank air there. You saw him just kind of fumble around a little bit. Showing that double tail up over that hip. Landing side saddle. And you know what? He's going to call this run not the run he wants. Going to have to come back strong in that 3rd round.
Yeah, he's down there in that number 9 position for now. However, don't count him out, as we mentioned earlier. He does have 4 medals, all in park, including a gold from 2015.
Here's where things went wrong. Just feet getting caught up a little bit. Can't get it over that top tube. Landing a little bit side saddle, but you know, to land like that is much better than slamming. So way to recover for Daniel Sandoval. Looking forward to what he's going to have in that 3rd round.
So we're just under 15 minutes left to go here in this BMX Park final. Ben Wallace, your number 1, followed by Jose Torres and Dennis Anderson. Sandoval sitting there talking it over. That is your defending champ coming out of the last event in X Games Chiba. That is Logan Martin. He finds himself in that number 4 spot as of right now. Dennis Anderson, he's in that top 3 for now. Finds himself in a bronze medal position after he was overtaken by Jose Torres in this round. See if Dennis Anderson can answer back.
Lots of speed into this wall. Huge wall ride, the tail up, starting things off the same way he did before. Bar spin on that transfer. Are you kidding me? Just pumping every transition with everything he's got. Loving that pocket to wall ride. The one-handed X up onto our wedge spine. Throwing the straight double over the wedge spine, downside toothpick. Whoa, just leaving a little bit of his back wheel on the coping there. And that is a solid full pull from Mr. Dennis Anderson. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Checking out that huge wall ride, the tail whip. Risky way to start your run. Maybe for anyone else but Dennis. Just look at the height
that he has right there.
He hesitated a little bit before throwing those bars, and you saw him fumble with the grip a little bit, but still pulling it around, making it happen.
So he settled for 5th last year, but finds himself in medal contention for right now. But let's check in with Victoria Arlen once more before we see Declan Brooks here in round number 2.
Guys, a cool thing about Declan Brooks is he won a bronze at the Tokyo Olympics, but he's actually the only one here that doesn't have an X Games medal. And so hopefully we're going to see him change that in this event.
Well, he finds himself down in that number 7 spot here, but as you mentioned earlier, Chris, this guy is an absolute powerhouse.
Absolute powerhouse indeed, Jimmy. Can absolutely corking out that 720. Like I said, just so much power behind his riding. When he rides wooden ramps, you feel the whole ramp shake when he rides. working that out and just tucking it in before that front wheel hits it. Front flip over the box jump. And he's another one of these guys that has the double backflip in his back pocket. And believe it or not, the first time I heard of Declan Brooks was when he was doing stunt work for the movie Mary Poppins.
Wow. It's a big transfer guy. It just makes things look effortless on this course.
Corking out that 720, getting good transition. I love the 540 with the bar spin. Classic spin. Kind of a flat 540 with the bar spin.
2 for 2 on those on that layback bank wall.
And here's where he corked out that 540 flare. Some might call it a corked out 900. Just tucking that front wheel in just in time to head to that box jump and get this front flip done.
Okay, so we'll see what this does. Again, no scores. It's a live ranking here. So as we mentioned earlier, he was 7th pre-run. It's going to bump him up, but only 1 spot. So he moves from 7th into 6th. That'll bump Kevin Peraza down 1 spot. So we bring in Justin Dowell. Had a rough go that first run. It's got him down in that number 10 spot as of now.
Effortless going over that hip. Bar spin, catch, bar spin in the 540. Triple truck driver. Easy as you like. Loving that look back in that flare. There's the twix that he wanted on that first run, getting it done in the second. Hanging up a little bit, has to fight forward a little bit, but he pulls it around. This is going to be a good score, Jimmy.
Down to the final couple seconds here. Justin Dowell puts it down here in round number 2.
Looks like he was just hanging on towards the end of that run, but he got it done. Here's that 360 tail whip. Eyes up onto that wedge feature. The flare with the look back. And then this, check him out. That is a tail whip. And when you're midway through the tail whip, you throw the bars. That's the only one of those you're going to see today. And you see it from Mr. Justin Dowell.
And it takes him from 10th. So he goes from worst to first. It puts him all the way up in the top spot right there. Justin Dowell, your silver medalist in this event from X Games Chiba, now finds himself in the top spot. So it's Dowell, Ben Wallace, and Jose Torres now. Your 1, 2, 3. Dennis Anderson gets bumped down to that number 4 position. So what a run there for Justin Dowell here. So we bring in Rim Nakamura.
Rim is a little guy, but he can blast a quarter pipe. Bar spin in and out of that wall ride. Huge downside can on that transfer. I'm going to need another look at that last one. That looked like 4 bar spins to me. With the 720 bar spin over the box jump. Great run from Rim Nakamura right now. Can he hang on for the last 15 seconds? And you can hear from the crowd in the background that Rim is on one right now. All of his colleagues are excited. I'm excited. That was a full pull right there.
And you remember the end of his first run, he kind of got lost a little bit there, was kind of struggling to put something together for that last 7 or 8 seconds. But looking dialed and in control here in round number 2.
Check him out here. Bar spin, bar spin, bar spin. One more bar spin. Oh my
goodness.
Gosh. 4 bar spins in 1 air. That's more bar spins than I've done all year. Checking out, there's that 360 downside tail whip. I am so happy I'm not a judge. I wouldn't know what to do here.
Yeah, those guys have their work cut out for them. So Rim Nakamura jumps up into this silver medal position. So it's Justin Dowell, Rim in second now, and Ben Wallace slides into that number 3 position. But things are shaking up here in round number 2. Kevin Peraza, he sits at 8th place as of right now. But here he goes, full throttle.
Oh, you love to see it. Tail up across that pocket. Late tabletop out. And I love just listening to the other riders on the deck, cheering on their fellow competitors. These guys are all friends. They all get along. They all help each other out with their lines. speaking of lines, Kevin Peraza's on one right now. Got a solid run going. Much better showing than his first visit to the course. I love the backflip 180 coming in backwards.
Like the fakie over the hip at the end again. Improvement for sure from what we saw in round number 1. He is in 8th place pre-run there.
Well, I have a feeling he's not going to stay in 8th place for very long. Check him out. Tail up on this transfer. Snapping a nice table just to let the people know. Going backwards on this pocket. Solid riding from Kevin Peraza as always. And then I love this, the backflip 180 landing backwards, reverting it back in on that box jump feature.
All right, so what's it going to be here for Kevin Peraza's second outing? Again, it's Dowell, Nakamura, and Wallace, your 1, 2, 3 as of right now. We are under 6 minutes left to go here in this jam session. So Kevin Peraza is going to jump up into 2nd place. So the trend continues here in round number 2. So your 2021 Park Gold medalist now finds himself in contention for a silver here in 2022. As we bring back in Logan Martin. Now, he got the gold in Chiba back in April of this year. He now finds himself all the way down in 7th place.
Was that a triple tail whip on that transfer right there? I'm going to need another look at that one because that was unreal. You know that Logan Martin is going to fight to get into medal contention right now. Truck driver corking out that 720. That's an opposite tail whip in that flare. He's so comfortable doing tail whips in both directions. Super uncharacteristic to see Logan Martin mess up on a flare at the end of his run like that. He had a solid run going though. Check him out here. 3 tail whips on that pocket transfer into the vert wall. That's how you want to start a run. That gets the juices flowing. Here's that opposite tail whip in the flare onto our wedge feature. It's just at the very end, it looks like he maybe ran out of breath a little bit, messed up on that flare.
Yeah, one of those last couple hits, it looked like he wanted to throw an extra combo in there, and it kind of threw him off a little bit there. So, again, your defending gold medalist from Chiba sitting in unfamiliar territory down there in that number 7 position for now. However, there's still time on the clock, and it is the best run that counts. We've seen the leaderboard shake up quite a bit here in round number 2 with 2 runs in the books. It's Justin Dowell sitting in the lead, followed by Kevin Peraza and Rim Nakamura. We'll have the conclusion of BMX Park Final after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
X Games is brought to you by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Welcome back, everyone. We are inside the California training facility here inside of Vista, California. It is X Games 2022 and the conclusion of BMX Park Final. We are taking a look at Justin Dowell right now, who jumped up to the top of the leaderboard here in round number 2. And let's take a look at how he got there, Chris Doyle.
Yeah, Justin Dowell showing you that truck driver to late downside tail whip. He had a full pull from start to finish. Had the whole run chock full of tricks, just trick after trick after trick. And original tricks. The bar spin tail whip. That's a bar spin and a tail whip at the same time. You completely dismount. He's the only guy in today's field that can do that trick. And he's showing you why he's sitting in that first place position.
Yeah, he was down at the bottom of the pack in 10th and then put himself all the way up in that top spot, followed by Kevin Peraza and Rim Nakamura. That is your 1, 2, 3 for now. However, we're going to get one more round of runs, and the way the format works, it is the best run that counts. So it's still up for grabs as we take one more look here at Jeremy Malott.
The newly engaged Jeremy Malott. Big shout out to his girlfriend, Ashley. And you know that her and the son are at home watching right now. Showing you that double tail up over that box jump feature. Carving out that flare. Jeremy Moat didn't even realize that he was going to be riding until just the other day. Kind of a late invite into this discipline this year. So awesome to have him out here. Always a pleasure to watch him ride. Slowing things down a little bit. On these last runs, these guys are gassed. It's been a long day. It's been a long week.
It's the amount of time you put in with training and whatnot, and then some of these guys are competing later in Park Best Trick.
Showing you that double tail up, straight in, carving out that flare. I know he's got a lot more tricks. I would have liked to have seen him do a few more things, but maybe wasn't feeling the course so much, and I think he had a little bit less practice than the rest of the riders did too.
So he will stick with that number 9 position for now. Back in Jose Torres. Jose was up there in medal contention. And after the shakeup that we saw in round number 2, he now finds himself 2 spots down in that number 5 spot.
Well, yeah, and he had some good visits to the course too, so it's going to be interesting to see how he steps it up here for the 3rd round. Seems like he's just kind of sticking with the same line that he's been doing. Got about 15 seconds here. Is he going to shake things up? Is he going to do anything different to maybe impress the judges a little bit more? There's that corked out 900, 540 flare, whatever you want to call it. That trick is crazy.
So Jose Torres puts it together again here. Is it going to be enough to bump him back up into podium contention there?
Well, I don't think so, Jimmy, guys. I think his first 2 visits to the course were better than that one. I would have liked to see him step it up a little bit more for that 3rd round, but again, I'm not a judge, and I'm happy for that. Check him out, showing you that double tail up onto the wedge feature. Almost leaving the back wheel behind there, and then this just corking out that 900. And again, some people call it a 540 flare. Catching perfect transition.
So it'll bump him up, but it's only going to be 1 spot, so not enough to get back into the medal count. So he will settle for 4th as of right now. So again, Justin Dowell, Kevin Peraza, Rim Nakamura, your top 3. Ben Wallace was sitting in that top spot for a while. He now finds himself in that number 5 spot. This is his 12th X Games appearance here in 2022.
Well, I know he's got more in the tank. Let's see what he's got for this 3rd visit to the course. An original, unique line. He's doing a line that we're not seeing a lot of the other guys do. Loving the line into that wedge feature. Huge flare traveling. And it kind of just looks like he's having fun out there. Saw him crack a few smiles on that one.
Down to the final 15 seconds here.
There's that downside double tail up on that transfer. He's done that so consistent all day today. Over toothpick. He loves to end it with a technical trick. He's excited for that one, Jimmy.
You can hear the reaction from the rest of the riders up on the deck there. Ben Wallace just having a great day out here on the park course.
Yeah, always impressive. Corking out this 720. Spotting that landing early, coming in, casing a little bit, but not a big deal. Downside, double tail whip. Stops the bike with the foot and then just stomps onto those pedals. He's one of the guys, he never lands on his crank arms. You always see him just catch those pedals nice and clean.
So is this going to be enough for Ben here? So it is not. He is going to stay in that number 5 position. Daniel Sandoval now finds himself down there at the bottom of the pack. He sits in that number 10 spot. This guy has such a huge arsenal of tricks. If he can put it all together here for 45 seconds, he can definitely shake up the standings.
Yeah, it's like you said, Jimmy, it's just a matter of putting it all together when it counts, and he needs to do that right now. Let's see if the Jordan jersey can bring him some luck. Here we go, tuck no-hander, up and in. Loving the invert on that quarter pipe. Huge on the flare with a tail whip. So far, so good here. Gets it around this time. We saw him have trouble with that in the last round. Is he going to be able to end things out with that double flare that eluded him in the first round?
Carving around those bull corners, building up some speed for the final 10 seconds here.
An unfortunate slide out on that wedge feature. And he's gassed too. To do that at the end of your run like that, when you're so out of breath, you're so tired, I can't imagine what's going through his head as he's cranking towards that quarter to send that double flare.
So rolling the dice there in that third and final run, but he will stay down there in that number 10 position here. You see the time has run out on the jam session clock here. We do finish out the run order, so everyone gets the same amount of runs. Got Dennis Enerson coming your way next. Well, the next stop on the F1 circuit is the Lenovo French Grand Prix, one of the oldest in all of racing. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN and the app. Our pre-race coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific.
Well, let's see if Dennis Enerson can be the Max Verstappen of today's park course here, Jimmy. Love that tabletop on that pocket transfer. Pocket wall ride.
Look at how fast he's got. He just flies through this course. Just flows so well.
And he keeps the speed going the entire time. Sending that straight double bar spin over the wedge spine. Sticking to the same double truck driver over the box jump. Kind of sticking to the same line he's been doing all day. Cannonball going backwards on the box jump. And then this. Oh, and he just hangs on to it. Wow, that was a great run from Dennis Enerson. Going to be interesting to see if that steps him up at all. Some people will say that the fakie is the hardest trick in BMX. And to do it at the end of your run like that is so risky. Showing you the straight double truck driver. And here we go. The toe jam coming in backwards, just fighting this rollback. How did he not slide out?
I mean, that's a tall feature, and that's a lot of vert on that extension right there. And his reaction, that smile, says it all. He sits in that number 6 spot. What is this going to do? Again, no scores. That is a live ranking here. And that'll put him back into podium contention. That slides him into a silver medal position. So Dennis Enerson rises to the occasion here in the third and final round. Kevin Peraza now finds himself in a bronze medal spot with Rim Nakamura on the outside now looking in. Third and final attempt here for the UK's Declan Brooks.
Declan is on course. Lots of speed, lots of power going coast to coast on that wall ride. First time we've seen someone do that today. Sticking with a similar run that we've seen. I think this is his best visit to the course so far. There's that 540 with a bar spin. Showing you the toboggan. Corking out that 540 flare. Where's he gonna go? Front flip over that box jump feature. Yeah, this is definitely Declan's best visit to the course. Gonna be interesting to see if that steps him up on the leaderboard.
See Ryan Williams in the house right there. We'll see him in Dave Mira's BMX Park Best Trick later on in the weekend. As we take a look at some replays here from Declan Brooks' last visit to the course.
Yeah, I love the flat spin 540 with the bar spin. And this ending things out with the front flip on the box jump feature. It's kind of like a transition to transition, not so much of a box jump, but these guys are using it more as their box jump.
Okay, as everyone nervously awaits, is it going to be enough here for Declan to crack into that top 3? He was in the number 8 spot pre-run there. Taking a look at your current leader, Justin Dowell, due up next. He put himself in that top spot in the last round.
Yeah, and does he go out there and try and improve on himself, or does he just kind of doesn't really look like it? He's out there throwing down. He's not resting on that first place right now. He's going out and absolutely throwing down and destroying right now.
And just calling her, I was going to say, would you want to give yourself a little more breathing room with the likes of Rim Nakamura, Kevin Peraza, and Logan Martin still to go? But he calls it early on that one.
Yeah, just going to shake it off. Obviously, that second visit to the course was his best performance today, and he's going to hope that that stands up a little bit.
He might have got a little banged up. You know, that first run, you can hear him say that one hurt, but we'll have to see if that's going to hold up. We bring in Rim Nakamura. He was in podium contention, and now he finds himself on the outside looking in after Dennis Anderson put himself in that silver medal position. Here's Rim's chance to answer back here on this third and final attempt.
Bar into the wall ride, tail whip out, getting that transfer done. Just blasting right now. Bar spin, tuck no-handed, a late bar spin. I don't know how he can get those bars around so quickly. Nakamura's got a full pull going right now, Jimmy. Looking good, looking strong. Does he end it with something big?
Lost a little bit of speed bottom out on that pocket transfer right there. A couple of seconds ticking down here. Remember that first run, he kind of got lost towards the end of that last 6 seconds. He cleaned it up there in run number 2. Looked like he struggled just a bit there at the end of that last run.
I love this. Bar in to tail whip out of that wall ride. And then he still hits this transfer. How do you land that good to still get that transfer like that? I have no idea. Corking out the 720 with the bar spin.
So with 2 riders left to go here, it does not appear that that is going to be enough. Rim's going to stay in that number 4 spot. So we only have 2 riders left to go. One of them sits in a medal position. He is due in next. This is your 2021 Park Gold medalist, Kevin Peraza, sitting in a bronze medal spot.
Oh, and he just slides out of that huge flare on that pocket. Gonna sit in that 3rd place position and just see what Mr. Logan Martin has up his sleeve. But wow, that was huge from Mr. Kevin Peraza. And I don't really consider him a big flare guy. So a little bit uncharacteristic to see him just go for that huge transfer like that with the flare.
So Kevin's gonna have to hope that that bronze medal spot holds here with 1 rider left to go. Justin Dowell, your current leader. Dennis Anderson in 2nd, followed by Kevin Peraza. Logan Martin, your defending champ from X Games Chivas, sits in the number 7 spot. Can he get in?
Did that triple tail whip on that transfer again. Tuck no-hander to bar spin. Off and running. Corking out that 720 with the bar spin. Backflip with the tail whip. About 15 seconds. He's slowing down just a little bit. Want to see him end with something big. There's that tail whip, the late bar spin. Running out of steam here a little bit, Jimmy. I don't know if this is going to be enough, but he settles it with the 540 flare.
On a small transition right there. Again, that is your current leader. That's Justin Dowell. The question is this going to be enough?
Come on, dude.
It's Dowell, Anderson, Peraza as we await the ranking here for Logan Martin. But let's take another look. Chris Doyle.
You see right here the triple tail up just dropping right in. Tons of speed, tons of height, catching it early. Eyes already on the next feature. Yeah, that was a good run from Logan Martin. Showing you that opposite tail up with the flare. And it's amazing. It's as if he's mid-trick and he's already thinking about the next one. That's the sign of a true champion right there.
There's Logan Martin sitting next to your current leader as we await the ranking here. Is it going to be enough? And he does on the last run. Logan Martin puts himself on the top spot.
Yeah, come on.
Oh my goodness, it came down to that last round there, Chris Doyle, and he puts it down when it counts and takes home another gold.
Back against the wall, and he got it done. No one is safe when Logan Martin is in the contest.
Number 4, number 5.
So let's take another look at this last performance that netted him another gold, Chris.
We saw the triple tail whip. We saw the opposite tail with the flare. Ending things out with a 540 flare right there.
So let's send it down right now to Victoria Arlen, who's with Logan.
Logan Martin, your 4th gold medal. But before we get into that run, can you tell us the crazy thing that happened to you earlier in the week?
So I got here on Sunday. I drove from LAX to Vista, and everything got stolen out of my car, my bike, all my clothes, passport. So it's been a chaotic week. My wife packed up another bike from home, all my clothes, sent it over here with Natalia, and then I had a bike to ride for Durton Park. It's been a crazy week.
It's been a crazy week, but it ended in gold. How good does that feel?
So good, so amazing. They made me work for it out here. After my first run, I was sitting in 4th. Crashed, obviously, in the second run, but stoked to pull that 3rd run and win another gold medal. This is my 4th on the park, 5th in total, so it feels so good.
Congratulations, Logan.
Thank you.
What a performance by him. That's 6 medals in 6 starts for Logan Martin there, Chris Doyle.
Yeah, like I said, back against the wall, last rider to drop. He was out of the medals, and he got it done yet again.
Well, Dennis Anderson walks out of here with a bronze. It's Justin Dowell who has to settle for silver, and Logan Martin on the last run pulls it off yet again. When we come back, we've got women's skateboard park medals with Brandon Graham after this message and a word from our ABC stations.